People often associate cats with having 9 lives, but this was proven to be false, and we were lied to our whole entire lives. Because cats, how do they fall from really high places if they only have 1 life? Because when they die, aren't when they fall off? What if somebody offered you 9 extra lives? Would you take it? Or would you turn them into sort of like a business and showing off that you have 9 lives and no one else does, so you're doing magic tricks in order to make money, essentially? Well, that's the case from Tales from the Crypt, episode 3, season 1. Dig that cat, he's real gone. This is probably the most memorable and strangest episodes from Tales of the Crypt, because I feel like it's just like the simple story that kind of hits hard, you know, at the end. This was directed by Richard Donner. The story follows a desperate man who literally gains 9 lives of a cat and discovers that immortality comes with a deadly catch. So the episode opens with a carnival kind of showing fun things like fun costumes and fun creatures and people dressed this way at this carnival. I love this vibe, honestly. I love this vibe. It reminds me of like the carnival from the Scooby-Doo game from the Wii, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Love that vibe. But anyways, after the carnival scene, in the carnival there is an attraction known as Ulrich the Undying, which is just a person. It is crazy how back in the day attractions, like carnival things, were just people, like weird people. He's about to perform his most famous act, being buried alive, because everyone wants to see that, you know, everyone wants to see him being buried alive. As the crowd watches, Ulrich begins telling us how he ended up in this bizarre situation through like a monologue. How in the hell does he have 9 lives? We flash back to a time when Ulrich was homeless on the streets. He was broke, he was desperate for money, he was kind of a bum. That's when a strange scientist approaches him and he asks him some crazy question. The doctor claims that he discovered the sources of a cat's 9 lives and he can transplant that into a human brain, which giving them the ability to have 9 lives, such like a cat. With nothing else left to lose, Ulrich agrees because he offered him a lot of money for this transplant because he doesn't really know if it's gonna work or not. But the experiment works. To prove it, the scientist shoots him in the head. Ulrich dies, obviously, but then comes right back to life. Suddenly, he possesses 9 lives. Well, technically fewer than that, but we'll get into that later. Realizing they can make money off of this, like for a carnival and stuff like that, Ulrich and the scientists create a carnival act where the audience pays to watch him die in increasingly outrageous ways. He was drowned one night, and we didn't really know if he was going to come back after this, but he came back, obviously. And after that, he hanged himself and electrocuted himself, and every time he dies, the crowd goes wild when he eventually returns to life. And doing all this crazy stuff, you can only kind of do it 9 times. But he does not care and he gets greedy. And the money pours in. He is a huge success. Fame follows, but there was only one problem. Ulrich was really greedy, like I said. Instead of being satisfied with his fortune, he wanted all the money for himself. Eventually, he arranges a deadly accident that kills the scientist that kind of gave him this power. So he doesn't really have to give him money anymore from the sales he's making from the carnival, which is so fucked up. I don't know why, but now Ulrich keeps all the profits because now his business partner is dead. R.I.P. But each death starts taking a toll, and every resurrection means 1 life is less remaining.
This dying shit's taking years off my life.
Soon his girlfriend betrays him, steals his money, and leaves him with almost nothing. Literally. Like what? Like he kind of deserves it, but you know. Desperate to rebuild his success, Ulrich plans one final spectacular stunt, being buried alive. And this is where we saw in the beginning of Ulrich being buried alive. so it wasn't that far in the future. And if he survives, he'll become richer than ever. So he climbs into a coffin beneath the carnival grounds and waits for the resurrection he believes is coming. Then something horrifying dawns on him. The cat used in the original experiment had to die for the transplant to happen, meaning one of the 9 lives was already spent before he even received them. So he only got 8 lives, not 9 that he originally thought. Ulrich suddenly realizes that he's not on life number 8. He's on life number 9. His final life. Begins pounding on the coffin in a panic, begging to be rescued. But nobody hears him. The carnival workers leave, the crowd goes home, Ulrich slowly suffocates underground for good. This is how it ends, and it's a crazy how greedy Ulrich was being with these lives. He was just homeless on the street, and he got all this money, and he doesn't really know. Like, that's kind of why he was homeless, I'm not gonna lie, because he was greedy, and he didn't really care about the people around him. And when people messed with him around him, he kind of lost it, if you know what I mean. So there was a scene in this movie where Ulrich was set up on some sort of like wood and plank with a hole where his head goes, and he would make people pay to shoot him in the head. And the price was $1,000 because you're taking a man's life. And so one guy comes up, he misses, and his kid comes up, he misses. But then this guy, he looks like he's some sort of archer or some sort of person that knows what he's doing, and he clocks him right in the head, killing him forever. Or not forever, but he comes back to life, obviously. Got his money worth. He said he was so happy. But that was the weirdest scene I remember from this. But you can go watch this, because I can't really talk about most of it because it's kind of really gruesome. But anyways, many classic Tales from the Crypt episodes, the ending is built around poetic justice. Ulrich wasn't punished because he gained extra lives, he was punished because of his greed. Instead of treating his power as something precious, he turned death into a money-making scheme, and constantly gambling with his own existence. The final twist works so well because the clue was there from the beginning. The cat already used one of his lives before the transplant. Ulrich simply never bothered to do the math. His arrogance literally buried him alive, and yet the ending is genuinely disturbing. Joe Pantoliano delivers a fantastic performance as a selfish but strangely likable Ulrich, and the carnival setting gives the story in a unique atmosphere that stands out even among other Tales from the Crypt episodes. Many fans still consider this one of the strongest episodes from season 1, and I agree with that. So, what do you think? If you had 9 lives, would you use them carefully? Or would you end up like Ulrich, greedy and dies from his own insufferability? Let me know in the comments down below what you would do with your 9 lives. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell for more Tales from the Crypt, more ghost videos, more spooky videos in total. So until next time, I will see you later. Bye.